guys doing?
Wonderful, thank you. And yourself?
Listen, man, I get to talk about great movies here at the Toronto Film Festival. I won the lottery. It's fantastic.
You know what I mean?
For real. Listen, the only reason Collider gets to be at the Toronto Film Festival is because we have great sponsors. I want to give a huge thank you to Nordstrom Canada for sponsoring, because it's great and it allows us to cover great movies like this, Dolemite. So jumping right on in, you guys premiered your movie last night. I heard the premiere played like gangbusters. What is it like to have a movie here? What was it like last night with the audience reaction and everyone loving the movie?
It was incredible, man. You know, for us as actors, for us to put the movie down, and I mean, not put it down, but to work on the movie and work amongst each other, and then watch it on camera and watch the response was incredible, you know. Very, very, you know.
Satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
It was very satisfying.
Listen, I'm a huge fan of Eddie Murphy, and I love when Eddie Murphy is acting, like doing this role. He's fantastic in it. For all three of you, talk a little bit about getting to work with Eddie in this, because his work is just fantastic in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very high pedigree. You're walking into a situation where, there's a living legend being the captain of this ship. And you fall in line and you sit back and you learn. And he was gracious. He shared so many stories about all the movies he's made over the years and his time on SNL. And it was just it was collaborative as well as a learning opportunity. It was wonderful.
Everything is magnified. I mean, he's already magnified in my life, just being Eddie Murphy. So to be in this proximity with him in a limo, when all of us in a limo, and he cracking jokes and telling stories in between takes and what have you, it's magnified and magnificent. I could not have dreamt it, you know.
I would imagine, though, listen, everyone's a fan of Eddie Murphy, so I'm just curious, how much did you pay to work with him in the movie?
I donated my entire check.
Basically, huh? Like Titus said, man, he's just one of them guys that, you know, for what we do, he's like a Mozart, you know. He's like the top of the line of what we do. Acting in film, television, acting on screen. And just to watch him work, like some days he would come on the set, man, you know, he would just appear. You usually see somebody show up on set, and I'm just looking for him, and they like, okay, yeah. Camera, and it's like, and he's just standing there. I'm like, where'd you come from?
With his guitar.
Yeah, we have his guitar playing.
Yeah, I would have paid. I would have paid to be in the movie, but that's another blessing. We didn't have to pay. We got paid.
For real.
We accepted scale, but still, it was.
Hey, don't give up all the juice, Craig.
Well, look, the thing is, though, I'm so impressed with what Craig was able to pull off on this, because he's making a period piece. He's telling this incredible story. I guess talk a little bit about working with Craig Brewer on this thing and what he brought to the table.
A lot of trust there. He trusts us to go for it. He set the story out, and he come in and when he had to, but it was a lot of like he knew. He trusted us with the material, and we carried the ball and ran with it.
Yeah, he definitely knew what he wanted, and one thing about Craig, he's very culturally invested.
That's true.
In the work and what he was working with in these projects, and I think to pull a movie off like this as a director, you have to be culturally involved, invested in.
He's very sensitive too.
He is. That's right. He knows what we are and what we.
He taught me some
to
stuff.
get the best out of us, you know.
I mean, I hate asking this generic kind of thing, but how familiar are all three of you with the Dolemite films and with the whole backstory of what it took to make that movie?
Very. my mom and her sisters would watch it all the time, and then my cousins would sneak and get the VHSs, and we'd watch it. And at the time, I didn't know what I was watching, but I said to the fellows earlier, it wasn't until I became an adult and an actor and a fan of more sophisticated cinema that I understood what the nature of his sophistication was and what he was able to make on a shoestring budget.
Yeah, man. I mean, Dolemite was, I tell people all the time, he was the first Tyler Perry. You know how Tyler Perry started off?
Chitlin Circuit.
Chitlin Circuit, doing plays, and, that was Dolemite. Dolemite was the first guy who started with nothing, believed in himself, made product for himself, and he might have been ahead of his time, because we in 2019, everything he's done is making sense now, because it's so many people that followed his path without them knowing and him knowing either. So
I wonder who came up with the term Chitlin Circuit. Like, I wonder where
I
did
don't
that.
know.
And by the way, I love chitlin. It's delicious. Sorry about it. I'm from the South, so I was always a little offended by that term.
With a little coleslaw and
Yes,
cornbread.
and hot sauce. It's so true. It is so true. Don't.
I've never been a chitlin guy. Never.
Never ate
It's
chitlin.
And
delicious.
I tried to eat one time. Couldn't do it.
You had to be cooked just
I
right.
think it's
though.
psychological.
You lucky, man.
Don't let it. Yeah, we know what passes through it, but it's delicious. It's a delicacy.
What's your history with Dolemite?
I had seen some of the movies, and but I didn't learn about Dolemite until this movie and reading the script, and then starting to figure out who this man was. So I think this movie is going to be great for people to see that part of him, and and the stuff he had to go through to make a movie. I wonder, with that kind of drive and perseverance, like what he would do today, like with an iPhone. He'd be making a movie today.
Completely. Obviously, when you step on a set, when you have Ruth's costumes are fantastic, and
Fantastic.
they're amazing. So, who borrowed hypothetically who borrowed what from the costume department and is at their house right now?
I wouldn't dare take anything from her. She knows where everything is.
Hell yeah. She got tabs on this.
You don't take from Ruth Carter's wardrobe.
So no one has anything?
She actually offered to give me something, but it wasn't like a movie costume. It was some jogging pants that we were wearing in between outfits. And she seen it laying on the bed. She's in the trailer. She said, "Oh, you can have that," but it wasn't something we wear in the trailer. It was just like, it was something comfy that we wore, that I borrowed from her to wear. But like he said, you don't take clothes from Ruth Carter, man. She's the.
Well, I actually I normally don't ask people about costumes and all that stuff, but what is it? These costumes are so great, and they add so much to the characters that you're playing. Talk a little bit about meeting with her for the first time and finding the character and the clothes you were going to wear, and if you could talk about that experience.
That's often, one of the final things I find for me that helps you drop into the character. But I'm sure all of our fittings were long. Mine was about 3 hours long because I'm a fellow of a certain size. And once we went through all the clothes, and she began to show me what the ensembles would look like for each scene and why and whatever, it informed so much of what I was supposed to do and how I was supposed to do it.
Yeah, and I think those clothes are, like me and you were speaking about earlier. When you shoot a movie, it takes every part of the engine to make the engine work.
Absolutely.
So the lighting's important. Definitely the wardrobe, because you're watching people, come into character. The clothes actually help you become who you are. It's this invisible theme music in your head that you hear when you're putting on these clothes, that it make you snap. They make you walk a little different, make you talk different.
From day one, it was like, oh, she gets it, and it does. You felt transported when you put the clothes on, look in the mirror. I was doing like spins in my trailer, like and they felt great. It was everything It was all custom, right? She made sure we were on point. It was wonderful working with her. It's no fluke that she got an Oscar and is on her way to her second one.
She is beyond talented, next level. When you're getting ready to make the movie, you're about to start. You're looking at the script. You're looking at the schedule. What do you? Is there like a day or two that you have circled in advance? Like, I cannot wait to film this sequence.
No doubt. I mean, when you read a script, you read the script.
Well, if you could share a day or two that you were super excited to film.
The first day.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's starting, especially when you're getting ready to do a movie with a star of the caliber of Eddie Murphy, you know, you can circle the whole thing, I suppose. But the first day was certainly the most exciting for me.
For me, it was a little bit the opposite. It was like, I hope we don't have to shoot this for a while, because, and that would be scenes where I had to sing on camera, and I didn't know the song. And Craig Brewer would be like, "Hey, you heard the song?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Okay, you're doing it tomorrow." And then, so, you know, so that kind of stuff happened. But, I mean, I relished every moment. The whole set was fun and love and respect and silliness all day. And I think Titus got tired of me sometimes, but I still tease him.
Don't project onto me, child. Don't do that.
Right.
That was it.
Keep
that
going.
was it. That's Craig and Titus.
I'm going to add. I would like to work in a fun question or two, which is, who ruined the most takes and why?
Craig.
Ruined. Ruined.
I'll flip the next question and say, who was the fastest out of their trailer, and who was
Me. I'm the
slowest?
fastest out of trailer every single
I
day.
think Titus is the fastest.
Always.
I might have been the slowest.
I might have been right there in the middle,
I'm
too.
always the fastest. Fastest does not translate to can't wait to leave work. Fastest translates for me is I've been at work all day and I'm ready to go home. Okay.
One of the things, though, oftentimes when you're making a movie, and even on TV, the night before you'll be getting like pink and purple and yellow pages from script changes. How was it on Dolemite in terms of changes on set?
I never. If there were changes, I don't know that I felt them. They were larger overhead changes or whatever. But you just do it. I mean, like you just do it.
Yeah, it was like Craig Brewer it was very loose, very collaborative, and it wasn't too much heavy lifting when you got these people to play off of.
Before filming, when you're making a period piece like this, when you have the material of the Dolemite movies, and there's a lot of video and a lot of history to go through, how much are you looking at all that stuff before you're filming, and how much are you sort of just looking at the script and using that as your base point?
Well, if you were making a reinterpretation or a re-dramatization of something that already exists, then I suppose you look to the source material to copy it verbatim, but this wasn't a re-dramatization of any of it. This was a new script about the making of something. And I know for my character, there wasn't a great deal that we were able to find and excavate, but what we had, we used. So you have to trust the writing. You have to trust what they've already given you to be able to formulate your character and the world that you are supposed to be immersed in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. You know, I think that, you know, a project like this is, you know, you get some projects where you understand what the project is, you know what it is, and then you get some projects where you have to do a little homework. And I think Rudy Ray Moore was really, really close to all of us to some degree, you know. You know, that's our world, man, you know. And him being a black man in America from down south, you know, we can really relate to that. And him trying to become the struggle and trying to become somebody and fit in Hollywood, you know.
And he didn't try either. He stopped trying.
Yeah, he did.
He completely stopped trying to fit in.
did.
That's why we have the movies that we have.
Right.
Because he completely stopped trying. He said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it my way." And that's
Right.
what is so exciting about watching his journey.
It was.
Yeah, I relied on the script.
One of the things that I think is great about the script and is like there's no love interest for Rudy. It's not about there's like things that maybe could have been added or whatever, but the script is just it's a great blueprint, but it's a really great script. Talk a little bit about reading it for the first time and your reaction to the material.
It was like I said, it was like reading your own book for me, you know, and probably for you guys too, you can speak for it, but it's like reading your own book because you're like, oh wow, I've been through that before. Absolutely. It was all relative, you know. So when you read something that's relatable to you, it's a feel-good read. It's an excitement. You're really ready to dive into it because it's something that you understand and you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that story, his story is ever present.
Mm-hmm.
It is the plight of an artist, the artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's a plight of the underdog. It's all of those things.
No doubt.
Yeah, it hyped me up to hopefully be a part of it. Because that time it was just like, you know, read the script and then I had to meet with Craig Brewer and then I had to audition. So, but like Mike's saying, it's you do see yourself in the movie as an artist, as somebody who just, you know, keeps getting shot down, but believe in yourself overall. So it left me with a good feeling.
Yeah, he sacrificed so much for us unknowingly.
Right.
You know, the things that he was doing, he probably didn't understand the payoff of what it was going to be later. But he created a lot of great people out here, you know. Like I said, unconsciously, people not knowing about it. And then when you get a chance to see this movie, it confirms all of the things that you went through and were trying to do, and you know.
Absolutely. And the very nature of how he made his movies, improvisation, the freestyle, the sheer necessity of it all, that is the blueprint with which, you know, a great many of us are trying to mount our own little empires today. You know, everyone has to find their way through, and that's the beauty of being human. That's the beauty of being an artist. That's the beauty of being a creator.
And if you are an insecure actor, director, movie filmmaker, after you watch Dolemite, you're like, oh, I'm trying it now. Like, shit, you know, this dude went for it,
exactly.
with nothing. What am I waiting on? I'm in 2019. Look how much access I have. You know,
It's so true. It's
Yeah.
so true.
Completely. Listen, I have a million other things, but you have other interviews to do, and I'm just going to say, congrats on the movie. It is so well done, and you guys are all great in it. Thank you so much for coming by, and it'll be on Netflix. When is it on Netflix?
It comes out in theaters October 4. It comes out on Netflix October 25th.
Theaters October 4th, Netflix October 25th.
Correct.
Absolutely watch this movie, 100%. Thank you so
guys.
much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.